It's me, Zenobia darling. You're listening to hashtag Rockstar Life, the Coffee Break podcast. Let's go. Where the hell's my cold brew at? All right, so we're back again, part 2 with Cathy, the amazing curator of the hottest place in town. Yes. So let's depart from Blaze. Blaze is still a part of this, but you are a true Baltimore woman. You've also is a historian when it comes to gay nightlife, and you were a pop culture intellectual like me. Because I know the whole time we were installing this exhibition.
Well, I wouldn't quite call myself an intellectual. I know just enough to be dangerous, I guess.
Yeah, but like we were talking about all this shit, so I'm like, let's talk about it. Let's deep dive. So you said you were big into the Hippo.
Yes.
What are some stories of the Hippo? So for people that don't know, Mount Vernon used to be like the gay area of Baltimore.
It still is not quite what it was. You had Grand Central,
which I have performed at before. Like
you had the Hippo, you had the Gaslight, which was around the corner. You had Gerard's, you had Mary's, you had which was way more like the Hippo and Grand Central and Gerard. Well, Gerard's was straight gay, where the other ones were gay straight, if that makes sense.
They were more gay. Like Grand Central was like, I mean, that was a gay club.
Yeah, but
and the Hippo was too.
I know, but it still, as a straight person, you would come in. Mary's, it was more the male. It was more. I mean, I was in there, but it was like going to the leather bar. The Anchor in Washington, D.C.
Oh,
yeah, I've been everywhere. Tracks.
Have you been to Secrets?
There's a Secrets.
That was the gay strip club in D.C. It's closed now. There was Secrets.
Maybe there was so many places.
But that was in like the late 2000s. This was like a 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11.
No, I was already.
Yeah, and then there was Town in D.C. That was. I mean, I think the only one. And Nellie's is still there. JR's is still there.
There were so many places that I got dragged into that I don't even know where I was. But it was seriously.
I love it.
The baths, it was all concentrated in Mount Vernon. I lived in Mount Vernon for a while. Actually lived in it was a garage carriage house behind what was Harry Gladding's mansion, but it's now part of the Walters Art Gallery.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, he had the entire set. He was so in love with everything French that in there, and everybody, I can honestly say I never stole from Harry Gladding, which I can't say for half the gay men in Baltimore. But seriously, he had the entire set from the movie Gigi. He bought it.
Oh.
And he had this French restaurant that was kind of corner from where he lived so that he could drink. He had some place to drink. And he loved this wine called Fred's Friend. And it really was for cheap wine. It was pretty good. Harry Gladding was an amazing businessman up until 11 o'clock in the afternoon. But working there, I met, what's his name? Liberace. He signed something for my
Queen.
Yes. Alan Alda.
Did you know Liberace was gay back then?
Yeah.
I mean, because my grandmother was like, we all know a queen when we're,
Yeah.
How people didn't see that. I mean, it was a different time, but still.
As my mother would say, he was special.
Yes.
It's like he was special.
He was touched by some glitter.
He was really nice because there were two parts of the restaurant. There was the Schomburg that was only French, full French. Women couldn't work up there. Then they had a little bistro downstairs, and that's where I worked. And they closed the restaurant. He gave me a book and signed it for my mother. The rings, I saw his rings. And the guy, the young lover that he was with at his death.
Oh, from the movie? Yeah.
That's who he brought to the club.
Oh, girl. Oof.
Yes.
Were they like into each other?
No, it was not like that. It was a very like almost like a reception line.
Okay.
But he was gracious enough. He met the people in the kitchen, the cooks and the waiters, and I mean, he went upstairs, downstairs.
Yeah. Was he like, was Liberace as queenie as?
Oh, much more even.
Okay, because I could see him like that doesn't turn off.
Well, a lot of people did not know Harry Gladding was flaming.
Yeah.
Flaming. But people didn't. They didn't know.
Well, people like also. I think people now
was
are
the
aware of
time.
gaydar.
Yeah.
Like people, like more straight people are like, oh yeah, they're gay. Where it's like someone like me. Like I remember back in high school, I knew who all the gays were who weren't out yet. People were like, how'd you know? I'm like, I just knew.
You just knew.
So when and also that they were messaging me to hook up, like it's stuff like that. So I knew that. But then when all came out, I'm like, I'm not surprised. I knew that, and they're like, how? And I'm like, you didn't. Him? Really? He's not gay? Okay.
Right. Well, the Hippo, it was kind of, I like to dance, I like to party, and it just wound up there one night, and then I bartended back then, and I, was bartending down there, and about 95% of all of the wait staff is gay in a restaurant. So,
totally.
Yeah. So there were times when
Very Vanderpump Rules.
we would drop acid, and then we would close the restaurant. You never knew when it was going to close, and we would go over to the Hippo, and you would just jump all around, and you would go when the Hippo closed. And the clubs down there, you would go to this black club called Odell's on North Avenue because it was open till 5 o'clock, and then you would go and have breakfast. It was
at a diner. Oh,
yes, it was so. It was the beginning of the end because that's when AIDS was kind of introduced.
how many people have you lost to AIDS? I mean, I know people that were alive, and they're like, it was every week I was getting a new call, someone died. She's like, the whole generation of people just.
That's exactly how it was. I was almost tired of getting the phone calls. Over 25.
Yeah.
Ken, my dear friend Ken, lasted well into he was almost 50 because the drugs came out, but it had just ravaged his body, so much. One friend was shocked he didn't get AIDS. He wound up getting killed in a bus accident. So it's like, I lost two very dear friends that had they have stayed alive, my life would be different now.
Yeah.
I don't know, and it was their time to go. I miss them dearly every day. But your life, it's just, life is interesting.
Life is precious, and I don't think people realize that. They don't realize, like, you could be gone in a day. Like,
right. Fred and Cindy are all I have left.
Yeah.
We're the only.
They were cool people. They were fun. I was like, we can.
Yeah. Fred lives in Little Italy. Cindy married. She was, when we went to the Hippo, there was just a group. I mean, everybody dressed up, but we dressed like we were going to Studio 54. When we, and Cindy wanted to be a fashion designer, and Fred's a hairdresser, and we had our table, and everybody knew it was our table.
Yeah. And Sundays was like the drag shows.
The tea dances. You would start with the tea dances, and then it would just go right on up.
Oh.
And then everybody would, when the club closed, everybody would stand outside the club, and you'd party for another hour, and then either people would hook up and go their respective ways.
Oh, people don't do that nowadays.
No, well, you can't.
Well, people now, like, for one thing, the public sex is gone, which I don't know. There's something fun about that, I will say, just as,
Well, like that Rihanna song, When I Had Gone Into the Eagle, you could smell sex in the air.
Yeah. Oh, I know exactly what that is.
It was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
It had a pulse. It was like another living entity in the club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But clubs aren't like that. And then people don't dance anymore. People,
No.
they want to go to bars and they're on their phones. And I'm like, I want to go dance. I want to, like, hook up with people. I want to make out on the dance floor. I want to dance to this new Lady Gaga song.
Well, somebody said to me, I don't know where we were. We were someplace. And this was like a friend that, had crossed over places with me. They go, you don't dance the same when... I said, no, you don't dance the same when you're with straight people than when you're with gay people. It's a whole different, it's a whole different vibe. But they were really very fun days. I cherish them.
Yeah. I love that. I love it because it's stuff like where I don't think the new generation understands what, and I feel like I was I was at the tail end of it, like right before social media and cell phones took up was right when I started into it. And I can definitely tell like what happened even 10 years ago, like when I was coming, like when I was dancing and stuff like that, that does not exist nowadays.
No. And they had the Miss Hippo contest in there and stuff. It was just really, really a lot of fun. And remember the comedian Whalens and
Yes.
Okay. He came in the club one night when he was performing in Baltimore. It was just really it
was fun
time. It really was. The Hippo was like, there were two sides of it. You had like almost like the lesbian side of it, and then you had like the dance floor, and the dance floor was humongous. Think of like
and they always played
roller
good music.
skating
Yeah.
rink.
I love it.
It was that big, and there was a bar at the front end and a bar in the back end. And when I had met David and Tony, because Tony's, well, I'm older than everybody, but Tony's in his 60s, I would venture to say. And I took a girl with me to travel from my high school, and she's a little, been married for like a million years.
Out in the suburbs.
Like that, yeah. And Tony, they were showing me they had gone on a cruise, and Tony was showing me one of his little outfits. And
was it a gay cruise?
Yes.
Oh, I've been on one of those.
Right. And
I will never forget, they had an ice cock sculpture, and all the gays were all into like, you got to make it veiny. When they were like, the dude was like, cutting it out of the ice, and I just remember that. And then they had fake meth because it was a Breaking Bad party, which I thought was hilarious.
Well, he showed us, and there's very little that shocks me anymore. But I live in Fells Point, and every now and then I'll see something that like I'll be like,
well, I know I've said some stuff, and I could tell it like, oh.
So the outfit did not shock me, but I could see that.
Could you see the kibbles and bits?
Pretty much, and I could see that Sue was a little, and I had already had a couple glasses of wine, and I have no filter after I drink. And I was like,
you have no filter after you drink?
I have no filter after I drink. So it was like, I said to Tony, I said, oh, remember when they used to have, and I don't even know whether David would remember that because David's like 51, where everybody had a whistle. And then somebody would blow the whistle, and you'd be like, woo, woo, and then you would hear pop, pop, pop.
Oh, from the poppers.
And these were real poppers. The real
Rush.
glass poppers. The real glass poppers.
God.
And everybody was just like...
People don't understand what poppers are nowadays. They don't understand what Quaaludes are either. And I'm like...
Oh, I was the Quaalude queen.
They're fun.
Yeah. You can fuck a gorilla on a Quaalude.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you want it. Like, you really...
You do. I survived, I'm living proof that you can... have a good time in your youth.
But also, there's something I always say where, like, I feel like people are either black or white with partying. And I'm like, no, you can party and experiment with stuff. You can still be safe about it. You could still be, like... There's still a glamour to it, whereas I feel like a lot of that, people don't understand that nowadays. And it's like...
Yeah, I knew there was one night that wound up to be kind of a bad night. It was a good night, wound up to be a bad night. But and I wouldn't advocate this, but I did not. It was like one of these things where this guy came out with this attaché case, and it's like, pick something. I don't know what I took, but I know Fred, the guy that you met, I ran into Fred that night, and I wanted frantically to find Kevin, and Fred said, go home, girl. And I think he saved my life. Yeah. Because had I have stayed at the club, I would have drank more, I would have something more, and I might not have made it home.
Yeah, and you don't know what.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I've been there, done that. I've also been roofied before, which was scary.
No,
but...
I'm not saying that those things, there's a lot
of
things
happens.
that exist, but it didn't.
Yeah.
I never, and I can honestly say that I'm not a Me Too. I don't know, either people thought I was crazy and I would go off, or I was one of these, like, people that you would have to kill afterwards because I would open my mouth.
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
yeah, you're going to jail.
Well, if it wasn't for a few NDAs, I'm like, I could spill. I think statute of limitations, I think it's like 30 years. So maybe when I'm old, I'll write a book.
And I survived horrible nuns. If anybody watched The Keepers, he actually was the parish priest when I was a kid.
Oh,
despicable man.
Yeah. Well, I was telling you, like, where we were at a ghost hunt, and I was a pedophile Catholic priest that I had to banish out of the house, and it was causing, and I'm like, well,
Yeah, I mean,
and then people wonder why organized religion is not. It's not happening now, and it's like, well,
organized anything.
Exactly.
They just changed the Boy Scouts name to try to like change their image. They're still.
They're Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
Well, I also think it's really weird because last time I was in Gettysburg, there's always Boy Scout stuff happening up there. I find it really weird that there's like 70-year-old men dressed as Boy Scouts with like the teenager boys. And I'm like, there's something.
That's nothing weirder than a reenactor.
Well, that too, because the people they wanna be the Confederacy because they want to be rebellious, and it's like let's really look into what
a lot of those people are. They're paranormal people. Too.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I don't know about the Boy Scouts, but
no,
I mean,
the reenactors.
Yeah, and with Gettysburg, like I've talked about this before, the ghosts are aware that people are going to Gettysburg for the ghosts. So the ghosts know that they're the reason why people are there. Like it's interesting in a way because you can tell they're self-aware and they want to spook you, but at the same time you're like,
well, that's all right. Do you watch that TV show Ghost? There's a TV. It's like a comedy on I don't know CBS, NBC, one of those things.
I don't know. I think I've heard of it. Yeah,
and it's really interesting because in this version of Ghost, which came out of Britain, they could have sex in the afterlife. So they're like hooking up with people and stuff. It's really it's like hysterical.
I love it. Well, I've been on mini ghost hunts where like. It comes out that like someone like one of the men was having an affair with this other woman, and they're still having the affair and keeping the secrets, and the drama is still happening, and we're getting stuff. Yeah, in the afterlife, and we're getting it with the spirit box. I mean, that's been on Ghost Adventures too.
I don't want to be like that. If I die, let me go into the light wherever the hell we're supposed to go, and then I want to be one of these where I pop up. Different pages.
That's how I am. Yeah. And just pop up, say hi, mess with some people, give them a good laugh. I do not want to
be stuck in the cemetery. Well, I'm not going to be buried anyway, but I don't want to be stuck in the cemetery. I don't want to be bound to my house.
Oh, fuck no. Can you imagine?
No. I'd rather, if the choices are bound to your house, going to hell, or wherever, I'll choose hell.
Yeah.
No,
I get that. Yeah, because it's like, well, all our friends are going to be there, so.
I don't think hell is what people think.
I don't think it is either.
Hell is what we're in on any given day.
No, I hear that. Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. I'm definitely crossing over because I'm like, and then I'll come back. Like I'll still mess with people. I'll do all that stuff.
I plan on messing with people.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Like
that's what I said to my son. I said I don't know because my mother presents herself as hearts, and my mother was not into the paranormal, so it's real weird that she's.
See, my grandmother, she was, but she also has a very strict Southern Baptist upbringing that would always come in and like stop it. But I can always tell I always see like I always feel her around me. I always see the numbers that we and her have. So it's like I have weird stuff like that pops up all the time, and I'm like,
with my mother, it's just hearts. And I remember when I finally, after chasing my BA for 51 years, I finally graduated, and I remember having this because I have many conversations either with my dog or with myself out loud. I talk to myself, and I remember having this conversation. Because my parents were never really big on education. If I graduated from high school, that was the epitome of they were happy, and I just like out loud, I'm like, oh, Mother, would you be happy? Next thing I know, and literally right afterwards, my dog, I have a little Chihuahua, and I live in the city, so she's pee pad trained. She peed a heart. No lie, I have the picture of it. A perfect heart.
See,
so that was my mother.
I believe in that stuff.
Yes.
That's some people want like this big grandiose like, oh, where are you, spirits? And it's like they're there. They're not as like some. I've had it where they kind of hit you in the face with stuff. But for the most part, it's little stuff that people just overlook, and it's like you just have to pay attention. Like I keep telling this my mom. My mom wants my grandmother to come through so badly, and I'm like, well, she's not because you have an attachment, and like she knows it's not healthy. Like you need to let her go.
Well,
all right, ad break. I gotta pay for all this damn coffee I'm drinking and tea I'm spilling. It's me, Zenobia, darling. So, as many of you know, I'm more than just a podcaster, stand-up comic, and drag queen. I'm also a very accomplished painter and photographer, and you can check it all out on ZenobiaDarlingCreative.com. I have an art blog on there sponsored by the Harford County Cultural Arts Board, and just all my paintings, photography, you get podcast stuff. I have an art film that premiered in September that you can buy on there too. So make sure you check it out. It supports me, supports the podcast. All right, so let's get back to the podcast.
I went before the exhibit. and I had one of Blaze's boa feathers with me, but girlfriend didn't come forward.
No, I don't.
That wasn't my night.
I think Blaze is going to make herself known. I think it's going to be. I feel like now that it's up, and I also think she is a theater person, and she's kind of like, okay, they're still in crunch time. Like,
because we're not done.
Yeah, once everything is up, I feel like she's going to make herself known.
I hope so, because, and here's the thing, it's like, unless you've gone on, and I would encourage everybody to do a ghost hunt, just because it's not like TV.
It's not.
Yeah,
it's not.
It's not at all. I'm addicted to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of them. There's some I like better than others. I like, what's her name? Amy and...
Oh, Dead Files.
No, not that Amy. What's the other girl that she used to be with the ghost hunter guys, and then she and the other guy, he's gay.
Oh, Kindred Spirits?
Yes.
Yes. Adam Berry and...
I thought her name was Amy.
No, is it Amy? No, Adam Berry's the guy. So he's a theater person... And like I've known him from that. I've never actually.
He actually won a contest or something to be on that show.
But he's like a major like theater person in Provincetown, and so is his partner, and they do a lot of stuff at Gettysburg. So like I've been in the same room with him. I've been like we never met, but like I just find that a weird synchronicity. I like him.
I think theirs is
oh God, what is his?
Is real. I think the Dead Files. You know, she's a strange duck.
But
but I do think that she is gifted. Zach.
Well, let's get into it. Let's get into it because Ghost Adventures with Zak Bagans. I mean, I really come for him because I have a lot of thoughts.
I loved that show when it first came out. I thought it was
when he had like peak roid rage.
Well, but he's turned dark. Everything's dark.
Yes,
now.
And I don't like
that.
And
I don't like that. It's like I'm not saying that there's not dark spirits running around in the world. Fortunately,
it is. It's Adam Berry and Amy Bruni.
I knew it was Amy something.
Sorry, I had to go back on Zach because I was like, wait a minute, we got to Google this.
I have never, thank goodness, I know that evil exists because you can't have good without evil. I've never personally had a negative entity come to me. That's not saying that they're not there, but when I watch some of these shows, I'm not saying that you're going to get backlash from this. I'm not saying that it really can't happen, but when you see people falling on the ground, and
it's very rare that like this,
right.
Like, I mean, I've never, I've been touched by a ghost, but I've never been pushed down. Like, I'm sure it can happen, but like, they're making it more of a common occurrence, and that's the like.
Well, then everything with him got just dark, and then he is a little drama queen where, no, I mean, he is, where he's getting, he does all this, like, putting his head, I'm feeling nauseous, I'm feeling dizzy, I got to get out of here. And
he's a theater kid. Well, this is the thing I tell about Zak Bagans. A lot of people don't understand. His idols is like the people, there's a dude that started Barnum and Bailey Circus.
Right.
He's a showman. He's a theater kid. That is where he comes at this stuff, and he also has a major interest in the paranormal. He understands pop culture. He understands reality shows. And Ghost Adventures is like, because it's
a little too much now.
Yeah, because there's a lot of Real Housewives theatrics in it that I don't think people realize. And I'm like, he's basically he's promoting his haunted museum, which I would tell everyone to go to because it's amazing. It is very dark, I will say. But he's using a lot of those theatrics in the aspirational lifestyle.
But it became, before when it was just, he would touch on it maybe every third episode or every fourth episode. Now it's like everything is dark. It's
a demon. It's a serial killer. Right. It's an evil bitch.
He sends that guy in.
Aaron.
That I actually feel sorry for him because either the guy is stupid or he's in love with Zach.
Yeah.
Because nobody is going to do the shit that he asked him to do, and he does it. But it's just when Zach's got the mask on and I can't understand him, and then he wears...
Well, I'll tell you why he wears a mask off, Mike.
Well,
I've heard things.
He says that he got from going in places where I could imagine, because you're in asbestos.
Oh, totally. I mean, that is something that ghost hunting. You're in decrepit buildings.
Right.
There's mold, asbestos,
anything. Because I went with a friend of mine. We weren't really ghost hunting. She was documenting old buildings. I was the one running around like, is anybody here? That kind of thing. But And then the neo-Nazi costumes, I don't get that. And that little hat that he wears sometimes. It's
like a goth Ed Hardy. It's
and
like,
the hair.
Yes.
I don't.
And he's like jacked, and he was a bodybuilder, and there's a lot that. And I don't like. To me, they're not ethical when they ghost hunt because they don't. When you go
it's too scripted. Dale.
Yes, it is too scripted. It is, and he's not even like now they do the house calls, and Zak hasn't even. Zak sends his team and stays in Vegas.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like,
in his remote location.
Yes. And
in
I'm
an
just
undisclosed
yes.
location.
And I'm like, you're freaking in your house in Summerlin, Nevada. We all like, please, Zak, your little gothed out mansion. Like,
yeah, no. I mean, I just, I used to like him. I don't like him anymore. And then I do know that, whatever the bald guy was on Ghost Hunters, he's kind of has his own.
Jay. Oh, there's
Jay.
Yeah.
No. Is Jay the bald one, and what's the other guy?
No, there's Grant, who is dark hair.
He's not in it anymore.
Yeah, but I forget the. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, the thing I liked about Ghost Hunters back in the day was it was so real. They were roto-rooter plumbers, and then you saw them and they went into it trying to disprove the haunting.
Yeah.
And like they would show it where it's
I
like,
think
hey, we
theirs
had
is
nothing.
a little bit more scripted than it used to be.
Oh yeah, totally. Right now like it's too much.
You know, I watch. Let me see what other. The Travel Channel has a bunch of stuff on it, but there's no really good ones anymore. I like the guy Chip Coffee.
Yes, from Kindred Spirits. Yeah,
yeah, I like him. I think there was some show I watched.
I like Kindred Spirits. Like they're
pretty authentic
because they're authentic. They're also ethical when they go and they've actually gone in and actually undone some of the damage that because of Zak Bagans, because of that whole antagonizing the spirits is there like come touch me, and it's like they went in one where it was like there was an old woman who lived in her house for 40 years and stuff was happening like just she was making her presence because they started renovating, so they bring a team in and they antagonize the fuck out of this poor old lady's spirit in her own house, and then she's pissed,
right?
And Adam Berry is like this is
sometimes they don't even know they're dead.
Yes. And it's like, they finally crossed her over and they got through to her, but he's like, I'm really upset. And that's where the ethical ghost hunting comes in, where it's like my team, we're not doing that. And because of people like Zak, that's the norm. And Kindred Spirits does not do that. And also because Adam Berry and Chip Coffee are gays, like gays ghost hunt better, I always say. There's something about gays that there's a little bit more empathy than some of the straight people, and I think
I don't like when you do and you see that in there and people do antagonize.
Yes,
it's the same as if you go out for the night and you walk into a bar that somebody's been in there for a while. You walk in a bar and somebody's been in there having drinks, and all of a sudden you come in and you want to fight them.
Yeah, you don't do that. That's not how the real world works.
That's how it seems to me that when Zak walk in there, they're trying to provoke a ghost. And you don't poke a bear. You
don't.
Yeah.
And not everything's going to be demons. Not everything's going to be like, I don't know, like a serial killer ghost. Like I think the closest thing to a demon was that pedophile spirit, but it wasn't a demon. I've never encountered a serial killer. I mean, Richard Ramirez, I commented on his artwork in the art gallery at the Haunted Museum and definitely had something touch me. But other than that, like, I don't know, but like most of the stuff on there, like it's not the norm, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's
most of the time I deal with cool ghosts, like Jeremiah at the State Theater. He's a homie.
Yeah,
like
I have a one ghost that I know of in my house.
There was
Kevin.
There was Kevin, the one gay dude that you were friends with.
Yeah, and then there's like the guy. I think he was the original. Owner, because my house goes back to 1821. But I kind of made this deal with him when I moved in, and I just said, "Look, don't care. I just don't want to wake up with
that's how I am
hovering over me. You stay on your side, I'll stay on my side, and it's
Yeah, I mean that's how you got to be with ghosts.
In my apartment, I think.
And like most spirits are cool, and you just kind of have to. That's the thing. People don't even want to acknowledge that they're real, and it's like. They're real. You kind of have to talk to them and be like, hey, like, you're cool. Just don't, again, I don't want to wake up and see a spirit sitting that's going to freak me out. But like, if you brush by me, I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Well, I was in the corner of my kitchen, and my kitchen has a really nice vibe. And all of a sudden I could see this shadow rising, And it was like I turned around real fast because I really actually, for a moment, expected to see somebody behind me, and then I just said, "Dude, not cool."
Yeah.
Just
And normally
not cool.
they're like, "Oh, sorry," like,
and
noted.
He went away. No, I have talks with him. I sage kind of regularly. I have a piece of petrified wood that
that's good. That's good for bringing up past lives stuff too.
Well, I use that. I'm real big into my spirit guides and my angels, and I use that to communicate with them.
Yeah. Do you do tarot?
No, I don't. I don't know how to interpret. That's above my. That seems like math to me or something.
Yeah. I like tarot. I mean, I definitely.
It's above my pay grade.
Yeah. It takes a little bit to get into, I will say.
Yeah, I do. I work with stones and my own feelings. You know, I don't think that I'm psychic. I'm sensitive. I get a feeling.
Yeah, because I remember that one day in the gallery with Blaze Starr stuff. I remember that it was like we both were feeling stuff.
I could feel it. I knew that she was there. We were hearing things. I don't know whether I kind of agree with you. She's somewhere involved. She's just not ready to, make her presence. But there was definitely somebody in there, and
there was definitely a man that came through on the spirit box.
Yeah, you could hear.
It was a Jackson.
Yeah.
So Jack.
I was really surprised we didn't find anything in the 2:00 Club. I was really so wishing that.
Yeah, because Blaze wasn't there when we were there.
Nobody was there.
They were bootleggers. They were 1920s bootleggers that were near that bar, but they would not talk. They were because I mean they're not gonna they kind of had to keep their guard about them, and they still have it. So I don't think they would communicate.
Well, he had given misinformation. That bar was always open.
Yeah.
When he said, "Oh no, it was sealed up," it was never sealed up.
Yeah.
It was always open. But yeah, bootlegging because it opened in 1932. And God knows it was something before that.
Yeah. Wasn't it like Daughters of the Confederacy?
That was before.
No, Daughters of the Revolution.
Yeah, but that was before.
Because I did feel that energy there.
Yeah, it was so many. It was an auction house. It's had a lot of lives.
Yeah.
And I would also think in the gallery, because the exhibit that you had before, that was about a deceased person.
Which one?
The empty hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, a lot of the exhibits that you're going to come in, each of those people's energy
is totally
still left over in the gallery.
Yeah. And art and painting, I always say there's a spiritual side to it. And like when you're painting or doing stuff, your energy's imprinted on it. But also theater is a spiritual ritual. People don't realize this, but most modern theater, it comes from the ancient Greeks who were trying to worship and summon the Greek god Dionysus. So I'm always like, what is the shitty theater that's going to finally summon Dionysus after years of trying?
Yeah, right. So there, there's, and then every item has its own energy. And some of the things that we exhibited in that gallery were other photographers touched that and then gave it to Blaze. It's gone through a lot of hands, and all that imprints. But I didn't feel anything negative, but there was definitely something there.
Yeah, there was something, especially that one day. I remember that very vividly.
Yeah, but I was so wishing we found
I'm almost, I want to go to a seance with my people now because it's like, I want to see if she'll come through. We'll probably do a seance.
I told you I went to that one. It wasn't my night, though.
Yeah.
It was actually my niece's night. I had gone to the same lady before, and that was my night. It's like sometimes I think it's who screams the loudest.
Yes,
on the other side,
very much. Yeah.
And honestly, I wanted to see Blaze, but there was no one else. Like, there's nothing I have left to unsaid with people. I would like to do a little bit more because I think there's other things in my building. I think there's something. I think it's almost like the ghosts on one floor don't interact with the ghosts.
Oh, that's
on the other.
very common.
Yeah, I think that's because I think that there's a ghost on the second floor that is very. I think the one that's on my floor kind of floats, but I think there's one on the second floor that's kind of there,
stationed there.
Yeah, because I can hear his boots when there's no one.
Yeah.
In that building.
Oh.
Yes, no one.
Well, I mean, Fells Point is very haunted. I've been on many ghost hunts down there, and it's a very haunted place. Yeah. But I mean, that's why I love Baltimore, because
there's
many ghosts here.
Where I work with Harry Gladding, the Schomburg, that is an empty building now, sitting on North Charles Street.
Oh, I'm sure it's haunted as fuck.
I want to go in there so bad because so much stuff happened in that restaurant.
Yeah.
I mean, just so much stuff that there's. My gay friends are in that restaurant.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Well, that's why I like about the State Theater in Havre de Grace. Like, the ghosts, there's 6 ghosts in there, and they all come from, like, the 20s when Havre de Grace was Little Chicago and was, like, a big party place. So they're all fun party people. And it's, like, that's, you know, it's fun. And, you know, that's a side of history that a lot of people want to, like, not acknowledge. And I'm like, well, you know. Like,
well, that's a big thing now with speakeasies.
Yeah. And it's like, let's go and party with the gays in the abandoned building. I prefer that over anything else.
No.
Ooh.
So what do we want to talk about?
Let's get into the Real Housewives because we went on.
I stopped watching.
Yeah. So why did you stop watching the Real Housewives?
Because I felt I only watched New Jersey,
Oof.
New York,
Oof.
and Orange County.
Yeah.
I couldn't deal with it when the other ones came on. I couldn't relate to the Texas people.
Dallas is because it's Lee and Locken. I always say the best reality stars are models with personality disorders, allegedly, and Lee and Locken is that to a T.
I couldn't watch. I couldn't get into that. I couldn't get into the Atlanta. I
think you would like Dallas though.
Well, I couldn't. I just couldn't get into it, and then I stopped watching New Jersey because Teresa was giving my people a bad name because I'm Sicilian. And she just, not that I haven't banged on a table or threw stuff in my day, I have. But it was like, come on, girlfriend.
Well, the table flip was a real thing in the very beginning.
I
but
know, but
it was I just, because it's New Jersey, the season premiere just premiered on Sunday. I watched it and I'm like, there's something off about it. But I really stopped tuning out of Teresa. It was when she came back from jail and they were at Rail's Steakhouse, which is like the main thing on there. And she was fighting with Dolores and she picked up a glass and threw it against the back wall. And she's like, I didn't say that. And I'm like, that was fake, Teresa. That was not you pissed off flipping a table. That was you watch me make a moment.
Right. And that how she didn't know that Joe was cheating on her.
Oh, please.
I wanted to smack all of her children. Melania just plucked my very last nerve.
Oh, yes.
And just the things that she let her children do. And then when she got married to whatever his name is.
Louis.
Who dressed her?
I don't know. She clearly does not have a gay in her life because
horrible.
Her hair was horrendous.
Well, the hair,
it was so bad.
Was really bad.
And I'm like, there's something about like that deck of cards is going to be falling down anytime because it's like, there's something shady. And already they're talking about this season how Dolores was saying, oh, well, you know, Louis gambled all her money away. And it's like, of course he did, you know?
Well, I did. It was too much drama.
Yeah.
And then I stopped.
And then the thing about New Jersey, though, is the drama gets toxic.
But so's New York. I stopped watching New York because I thought these ladies are not promoting what women are all about.
Yeah.
They're tearing each other down. And then I couldn't deal with Ebony. Is that her name? The lawyer.
Oh, well, that last season was.
And who's the one that
Leah McSweeney.
Oh God,
I can't stand her. I can't.
She's a legend in her own mind. Yeah. Now I'm not saying that she's.
Well, you know, the only reason she's like this is my personal opinion. I think the only reason she's so in Bravo is because she got off the show. And like she went back on the Ultimate Girls Trip, and that was a flop season.
I never watched.
And like. And
Sonya's the only one that
she's the only one. But also then she got into OnlyFans and she's not making money on OnlyFans. So I'm like, oh, her pussy thought shots aren't paying the bills. So let's sue.
How old is she?
I think she's in her 40s. I mean,
she's too old.
Like she's in good shape. But I'm like, girl. And then she kept doing it like, my mom's gonna kill me. I'm like, then why are you doing it? Like you clearly
and she turned Jewish. We had to go through the whole Jewish thing with her.
But then she did that, and then she went on OnlyFans, and it's like, and I'm like, girl, come on.
Yeah, I couldn't take. Drag queen Luann.
Oh God, I saw the Countess and Friends.
I mean, and
in
the
DC.
thing is, and
it's so bad.
She's not a bad looking woman for her age. I mean, they're all, you know, God bless them. They've got the money to get surgery and stuff. But it was like the just all the drama with the young guys. And who are you kidding? Why do you think they're with you? It's not because you're beautiful.
Yes, no, it's because you have money and you're Countess Luann. But I saw the show. It is so like. how she thinks she's a good performer. I'm like, you got a stage presence, but I'm like, it's your friends that are carrying the show. Right. You're just out there, money can't buy your class.
Right. She can't.
In a Giovanni dress that pisses Dorinda off.
Giovanni.
I fucking love Dorinda. Dorinda is my number one housewife.
Well, and she got off. But then I stopped watching the California because I couldn't take the hillbilly, what's her name?
Oh, Tammy Sue from the trailer park.
Right, and
she is one of the absolute trashiest housewives we've ever. I mean,
then now the drunk.
Oh, Shannon Bador, who did you see the video of her fucking her car up?
And she walked away.
And then
she took her car
and then she just said like, "Oh yeah, I'm still drinking." I'm like, "Girl, like
she's a mess.
You're a mess. Like you're an alcoholic like Dorinda."
She's a really bad. Well, Dorinda Shannon's not too, but Dorinda she was like a sloppy drunk.
She got, oh God.
She was a sloppy drunk.
Oh my God. Which is like, I'll tell the biggest heroin out off the street and I'm going to tell what's up.
Yeah,
I'm like, you're nuts.
It was like so, God. It was so funny. But
although she did get mean, like that last season with Tinsley.
She was jealous of Tinsley.
Yeah. And Tinsley, like, I really love Tinsley just because you can tell there's something inherently broken about her. But she also.
I like the way she dressed.
Yeah. And she brings in that like.
Snowflake.
Yes. Like that like Paris Hilton vibe that I love. Yes. But Dorinda was like, "Oh, the kindergarten bus is coming," like getting so mean. But I'm like, God, Dorinda.
Yeah, no, it was just getting too toxic. Yeah. And I just felt like I needed to shower afterwards, and that these are women not supporting women, and everybody that's on there, they start out with they're not starting out that way, but they're presenting themselves with their shiny little lives, and then you see they're all divorced, and
they clearly have substance abuse issues.
Andy needs to move on.
I think so too. Yeah. I think so too.
I mean, he definitely is an intelligent man. He's a gazillionaire now. He's got a real cool best friend. Go do something with Anderson Cooper. Yes. Go put your little minds together and do something because you have exhausted this franchise.
Well, that's the thing about, like, I just talked about this recently with Andy Bellotti, the astrologer. He came on and said, like, we're in a period where, like, stuff that is phony and stuff like that is really kind of like you're really feeling like how phony, and people are disengaging from it's like that. I think that tide is over.
I used to watch the Clubhouse religiously. I don't watch that
Watch
anymore.
What Happens Live is one of the the only reason that show's there is because Andy fakes the ratings, right?
No,
because no one watches it because he's a reality show producer. He's not a TV personality. There's two different things. Like,
well, but I would watch it because I would like to see the girls coming on, and then there was something.
Oh God! Then he tries to do some pun, and I'm like, you butchered that.
It's just
you can't deliver that because you're not a comedian.
I don't like him anymore.
I don't either.
Yeah. It's time, Andy, to move on. The network is going to stay there. You did a good thing, but let's do the second act because the first act's tired now.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. I hear that.
Yeah. So
I mean, so on Orange County, like, who is your favorite? Who is your favorite on that franchise?
Who did I like on there? I kind of like Vicky.
Well, she's
only because Vicky was such a bitch.
Oh yeah,
and she was driven, and
well, the whole Brooks thing. Did you ever with the faking cancer?
Yes,
like that. That was a lot. That was a lot.
That's what I'm saying. It was just the thing that I liked about her is she really believed. She believed her life. The other ones knew that they were like it was a parody and they were playing it up. She took it seriously, and that was I don't know. Her kids are messed up, or so. I mean, I guess they're okay now.
Well, Orange County has like the darkest kids out of all of them. They all like. Do you remember?
No, the one that I liked, and then the one that was the Playboy model.
Oh, no, oh God,
she's had too much surgery.
Not Gina.
Yes, Gina.
No, but it was not New York Gina. Because now
not New York Gina, not the blonde.
This is Gina. Yes,
the old Gina.
Yes.
I liked her.
I do too. Yeah.
Yes. Now I did see because she was just on
she was on some Playboy show.
Right. They exhausted the. I don't know how much more. It's like the Playboy murders, the Playboy this, the Playboy that. But I saw she was on one of the Playboy murders, and girlfriend needs to stop with the surgery.
Oh, well.
You know, there's just I look. If I had the money, I would too. But it's like no one to hold them, no one to fold them. Girlfriend, it's too much.
Yeah.
You know, but I like her. I like the.
Did you like Lynn Curtin? She was the one who got evicted on camera, and her fucked up daughters answered the door.
Right, and her husband.
Well,
Was
you know,
doofus.
is a doofus, and then
Yes.
her kids are. One of them's like I think in jail, and is doing porn.
Well, she
like
was
they're
a
just
airhead.
yeah.
And
God.
what was the one in that same
Oh God.
the one that the other girl
Gretchen?
wound up? Yes.
Oh
But
God, who was
the
with the
one,
guy who had died of
Smiley?
yes,
Yes.
yeah.
But
Gretchen,
the girl that was with him before.
Joe?
Yes.
Yes.
I liked her. Gretchen, I don't know. They
I
got a
liked her,
kid
but
together
she
now.
needs to. I wish she would come back a little bit into the fold. I wouldn't mind her sprinkled back, like come in for
Did
lunch.
they do because they were doing that for a while, bringing her
Yeah,
back in
well,
and
no,
stuff.
they had because she had that thing where she got married to Slade, and then
Oh, they
like,
did get married.
I think
Okay.
no, I don't know if they did.
They
I think
had a
might have
baby.
kid. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like it just got too produced. But I'm like, I don't want her back full time. But I wouldn't mind like they have a dinner party. Here's Gretchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
How do you feel about Heather Dubrow?
I want to like Heather. I really do. But it's like she reminds me of. She thinks she's more important than what she is.
Yes.
She is not as intelligent as what she is.
No.
She's not Miss Manners.
None
or-
of those Orange County girls are very intellectual.
No, I mean she sets herself up as the epitome of ethics and culture and
She's not.
etiquette.
She's
and
not.
Right, she's not. And thank God that her husband is a extremely talented plastic surgeon. But when she walked everybody in the first house that they had built,
when it was the mall house.
right, it was like, who are you fucking kidding?
Yes. Like, what are you doing, girl?
Right.
Like, it's
I mean, just the way she talks, the way she carries herself. I wish I had her money. I think she has exquisite taste in dress. I'm not.
it's because she's a New Yorker at heart.
Right. So, I mean, I like that, but I thought her taste, her house taste were.
It's not, yeah, and
Right.
it's a mall. Like it's done by the same architect who does
Yeah.
like malls, and I'm like,
and the
it's-
one that I.
And can you imagine what their AC bill is?
If we got to ask, then.
Like I
then
think
we
about
know
stuff
we
like
can't.
that because
But
I'm like,
what about the one that oh God, she was just on there not too long ago where now she's gay, and I think the husband is really
God,
gay.
Brienne,
Brian, whatever. her name-
Bronwyn. Oh God, she is.
I couldn't take her from the beginning.
I found it so fascinating because she is such a narcissist that she was willing to be on camera when you're getting clean. Like there's a reason why, like when you're on intervention, they don't show you in rehab. That's not a time for cameras. That's a time for focusing on your wellness. And she was like, let's bring the cameras up. And I was like, this is way too real. But it also shows like that's a level of narcissism that
She's
is
crazy.
unmatched.
And I think he's gay.
Oh, I think so too. Yeah.
I actually feel sorry for him.
I feel sorry for
And
the
the
kids.
yeah. I mean,
Well, you know the one son who like is all into drag is like coming for his mom on Twitter because the mom lives in New York now with some young chick and they're all still in California. So she's like one of those.
I kind of got it. But she was.
But she also is really good at like she'll be leaving LAX and paparazzi's there. No paparazzi wants Bronwyn's photos. Paparazzi doesn't exist like that. You
I
paid
know.
them there, girl.
Well, I used to follow them on Facebook, and I had to stop because I was making these comments, and I know they read them.
yeah. Oh well.
Yeah, I know that.
Are you a shady queen?
Somewhat, yeah, you know. But I just had to like take myself out of the
Yeah.
whole franchise, you know. And then now that the exhibit's done, I still have to write, but now I want to get back into all my
Watch
shows.
Real Housewives of Miami. Miami, they still are playing by the old school.
But see, I think for me to do that, it's like now I would want to go back.
Yeah.
In the beginning and catch up.
I think they're filming season 7 now. Like it's not.
Oh, listen, the only season 7.
But like
it's all those.
but because there was 3 seasons, that was back in like the early 2010s, and then they went on hiatus and they came back 2021. But it's a good mix because you have like 3 new people plus like three.
I mean, it was just like too much. The Real Housewives of Singapore, the Real Housewives of Dubai. You know.
Oh, the Dubai ones. Well.
Yeah, it was like it was too much. It was just too much.
Yeah, but I think you would like Miami. Like definitely, it's like New York in a way where it moves quick and like but they still are playing the old school book. Like it's really like Lisa Hochstein. I think you'll like. I think if you like Teresa, you'll definitely would like. Oh God, what's her face? She just got divorced too. Alexia.
They're all divorced.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You want to get divorced, go on that show.
Exactly.
You know?
Well, I mean, we're not watching this show for, upstanding citizens of the world.
No,
I'm watching it to see horrible people be ridiculous.
Yeah, and it is. But it's like right now, Shannon, I kind of feel sorry for her because I think that we're going to hear something happen to her.
I think so too. Well, that's the thing. There really hasn't been a death on Real Housewives yet, and I'm like, they're.
Well, we do,
but it's. But like because I always say, who's going to be the first housewife to die? Because we had Big Ange from Mob Wives. She's not a Real Housewife, but I remember
she was also old.
Yeah, and she also chain smoked and lived a hard life for 50 years. So.
Well, all those women drink.
Oh yeah. Especially the New Yorkers. And there's a lot of drugs, too.
They could have no livers.
Yeah.
They're not going to have any livers. Thank God they can get plastic surgery because alcohol's, aged them.
Oh, yeah. And in New York, they're chain smoking cigarettes, too. They're really good at hiding it. Like, Beverly Hills, I know Dorit smokes. I know Kyle smokes. I know the Southern bitch smokes. But, like, they try to hide their smoking. And I'm like, can we just smoke on camera? Like, people
you can't
smoke.
anymore.
Well, in New York they do. Luann, they're always catching Luann smoking. They're always catching Tinsley smoking. Bethany would smoke. Ramona wouldn't.
I like Bethany. I still like Bethany. No, I still do. Yes, she's fraught with all kind of psychological problems.
Wow.
She's damaged. She's damaged.
Clearly.
But she's got a really good sense of style.
Yeah. It's Bethany Frankel.
Yes.
All right, so wrapping up, final thoughts on Real Housewives.
Final thoughts. Andy, give it up.
Yes.
Let's move on to something else.
I hear that.
And let them go.
Well, what shows would you pick up and start watching now? Because you said you watched Snapped.
I watched Snapped. I watched Snap Couples.
Who the Bleep Did I Marry?
Well, I used to like that. John Waters narrated that for a while, so I watched that.
Oh, yes.
Yes, anything murder, anything where people were murdering their spouses.
Mm-hmm.
Comedies, I like I said, the show Ghost and stuff. I want to read a book, like a real book, like not an academic book, just a normal.
What books did I read recently? Well, they're about the Real Housewives. So,
well, no,
I mean that's why I'm like
a good murder mystery, a good Agatha Christie,
a Danielle Steele novel.
Yes, there's a bunch of books that I would like to reread.
Now that you have time, it's
I still have till December.
Yeah. So wrapping up, we kind of touched on this, but do you have any experience of the paranormal? Like, what is the most scariest ghost encounter you've ever had?
I'm not going to say that it was scary, but usually I'll see stuff out of the corner of my eye. So this was really freaky. I lived on the water in Pasadena, and water is a conductor. Mm-hmm. And it was...
Oh, I love this story.
Well, it wasn't Halloween, but it was Halloween-ish, kind of, because it was a Halloween party. And I have a biological sister. We don't talk to each other anymore, but she's very sensitive, I guess. Maybe she's psychic. And we had a bonfire, and a good friend of my then boyfriend's, he was in a beaver costume, so he's been forever the beaver. That's just what we call him. So he was sitting, like, let's just say headed south. Or no, he would have been north. I would have been south, and Pete, my sister, were actually facing the water. And we had much to drink that night. It was just the four of us left, and tired, a big party and stuff. And my sister kept on saying, I keep on hearing something in the water. Well, fish come in at night, because the water's warm. And I'm like, you're hearing fish, Not that I haven't felt anything on the property. And she goes, no, I'm hearing something. You're drunk, kind of thing. And I looked over to my left, and there was a solid black. It had a form of a human, I would say. I mean, it didn't have arms or legs or anything, but it had that, like, cylindrical kind of thing. He was probably 7 foot, if not. And don't ask me how I know it was a man, but I just
You just know. That's the thing I always say about spirit. You can feel their gender.
I just got the sense that it was a man. And I turned over, and I mean, it couldn't have been any more than 10 seconds. And I got the distinct impression that he turned and went, holy shit, she could see me.
Yep, I've had that happen.
And he went like at an angle. And it was something where it must have been the look on my face because Steve, the beaver, looked and said, what the hell just happened? And I'm like, nobody else saw that. It didn't scare me. It was shocking because I've never seen a black solid figure.
And where was it? You said it was near the water. Where?
We lived on not far from where the bridge went down. I'm right where the Patapsco. It either is where the Patapsco turns into the bay, or some people just think it's still the Patapsco River. I don't know. I don't know.
I definitely get a sense that it probably was an indigenous spirit.
I don't. Probably.
But it also there's so many other things it could be.
Yeah, and there was. One night I heard, because we were on the water side, so we would call it the back of the house, but it was really where people ran in the front. And I thought my neighbors and Pete, I thought they were all out there partying and didn't ask me. And I went out, and as soon as they opened the door, all the laughing and the carrying on, and none of my neighbors were out there. I would get a cat that would rub himself in my legs.
I love ghost cats.
Yes, I had ghost cats.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, this...
So just a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I love it. This has been so much fun. I got 2 hours of content out of you.
Good.
So, yeah, where can we find you? Where can we find this exhibit?
The exhibit is positively, absolutely till June 15th at the galleries in Catonsville, 800 South Rolling Road. It may get laid over after that. Then we don't know where it's going to go. I haven't created my... I do want to do a...
Do you have a website?
No, not yet. It's coming. Everything's coming.
Excellent.
I just want to get past, this. And like I said, I would have put Miss Blaze to rest and let somebody else pick her up. And go on to different things.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm getting back up to the UFO. I spent too much time on Earth. So peace out.
Thank you.